Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. We are back for another exciting and fun-filled episode on the Passagemaker dinghy build. We got lots to do, so let's get at it. Alright, from the last video I realized that I missed or lost the footage of the when I took the peel ply off the front and the back and did all the other work. And so I've already sanded it. I already sanded down. This looks pretty good. I put just one little light coat of clear epoxy here. I just wanted to see and get a feel for how it looked. One of the things that you can see down here, this is where I kind of built it up pretty thick with the thickened epoxy, and I just wanted to see if it lightened it up, covering it over with the clear coat, and it didn't. So I got lots more sanding to do here, so I got to make sure that I get the when I use the wood flour thickened epoxy that we're gonna have to sand this down quite a bit more. But yep, anyway, so that's looking good. And I did get the boat turned over yesterday with some help. And our mission for today is to get ready to put the dagger board in. So need to clean up the dagger board. That's going to take quite a bit. Need to trim off these, sand it real good. I'm going to have to do some sanding inside the boat. The dagger board goes right there. You'll see when we get to that point. And then we need to put the dagger board trunk in and mark it out, and then drill some holes in the bottom of the boat. So that'll be fun. So let me get you set up and we'll get at it.
So I managed to turn off the microphone during this section here. But anyway, so I've got the dagger board trunk out. Looking at it, looks pretty good. Go ahead and cut off the dowels. I use that little plastic spreader to make sure I don't scar up the wood there. Putting that under the saw makes it so that at least I have a chance of not screwing the wood up too much. Works pretty good. It does leave a little bit more to be sanded later, but still it's a good way to get these dowels off. Now I'm cutting the spacer that left over on the spacers there to get them all nice and flush with the bottom, and giving it a good sand while it's out and fairly easy to get to. A little bit difficulty trying to keep it in one spot, but get it sanded up so it's looking pretty decent here. And hopefully I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do, if I'm going to epoxy this before or after, if I'm going to epoxy it all or just varnish it. So we'll figure that out as we get through, but get a good sand on all of it and get it cleaned up pretty good. Now we're going to go ahead and try the first test fit here. Nope, yep, sure enough, it doesn't fit. so taking a look at it, and the center bulkhead tab that sticks down and the dagger board trunk lip don't meet up. Now it looks like it's flat on the top, the top part of it, so probably don't want to make too big of adjustments here. But I could either raise the center bulkhead lip or lower the dagger board trunk lip. Or if I look at the bottom here, I want to make sure that that's nice and smooth. So maybe I need to sand that down and get that smooth before I make any adjustments at all. So I went ahead and checked the square again, and then marked where the area is at that the dagger board trunk's going to live in, so that I know where to sand, and then go ahead and give that area a quick sand, make it sure it's nice and smooth, so I can fit the dagger board trunk back in here. And yep, we're still off by a little bit, so I went ahead and checked to make sure the top is still pretty level. And also, you notice there the rounded corners, so that's a problem we know about anyway, so might as well square this off and take a little bit off of this guy and get it cleaned up, and then hit it with just a quick sand with some sandpaper and slam it back in. So now it's fitting under there pretty good. We've got a good, nice fit there. It's looking real good. Check the square again, and then we're back to regular time here.
Alright, after some finicky work and quite a bit of cursing and swearing, I went ahead and did put a center line here, just to help make sure that I'm pretty much where I need to be. And really, you know, you've got quite a bit of parallax there, but the biggest thing is a parallel, right? So it looks to me as though we're parallel to the center line at the very minimum, which I guess is a good thing. And then if we come down and look at, so we're square there. Let's see if I can show this without knocking it. We're mostly square there. A little bit just off there one way, and mostly square there. On the other side, over here, square there. Let's see if I can do this. We're off a little bit there, but not too bad. Off quite a bit there. And we're pretty good there. Looking at it from this angle, oops, there. Looking at it from this angle, there we are. So I think overall I'm pretty happy with it. I've already marked it on the bottom there with some pencil. So now the next step is to drill some holes. But I think we've got pretty good room here. So let's see. Let's make sure here. We got a drill. Okay, so did this, trace the outline where it meets the bottom of the hole, set the trunk aside, drill 2 1/8 inch pilot holes through the whole bottom, 1 inch from the forward and aft ends of the trunk, as shown in the drawing above. Okay, so from where I've marked it, we go in 1 inch in the center and drill a hole. So let me get set up and we'll do that. All right, so got the 2 spots marked here and here. The spacer that we're going to be going into, that spacer between the two pieces of plywood, is actually 1.5 inches this way. So I've cheated a little bit on the lower side of 1 inch. It just seems like it should actually be 3/4 to put it in the middle, but we'll go with this, what we got. This is a little bit difficult here. All right, there's one. All right, got 2 holes in the bottom of my boat. I'm gonna go ahead and do some cleanup here, wipe this down. The next step after this is to do some epoxy, epoxy work. They want us to make sure we seal up the end of the dagger board that goes there with clear epoxy, and then also use some thickened epoxy to put this down and screw it in. So once I clean it up, I'm also going to have to raise up the boat a little bit so that I can get the screws come up through the bottom. So I'm going to have to be able to get through the bottom with a screwdriver to get up there. So got some setting up. We'll be back tomorrow morning bright and early when it's hopefully not 85 degrees in here like it is now, and we'll see if we can get this dagger board trunk put in. Alrighty then, another day out here working on the boat. Yesterday I went ahead and was working on the dagger board trunk installation, and I went ahead and got the center seat out and put that in. Wanted to make sure it still had a good dry fit there and that it looked good and it's nice and solid, no adjustments needed. But so looking at it, and even when I put the dagger board trunk in, it's going to make sanding the center section a lot more difficult. So I'm going to pause here in this installation, and I'm going to go ahead and sand the center section down really well and get it prepped for another coat of epoxy along the whole center section here. Also, I'm going to go ahead and when I do this this section here, I'm going to go ahead and also hit that next board up with epoxy. It doesn't say to do it in the manual, but you know, even if you look at the bow or the aft section there, we're going to be going up quite a ways with the epoxy there, and I think it just makes sense to do this this next board here at least with another coat of epoxy and just to seal it up. So that's what I'm going to do today is hopefully I can get this whole thing sanded today, and then tomorrow I can come out and put one more coat of clear epoxy over it. If that's not enough, then we may be doing more sanding and coating of with epoxy. But that's what my plan is now. I'm gonna take this out. Hopefully I can get this get the boat set up a little bit better so that I can do some just heavy duty sanding today and be done with this this center section by just adding one more coat of epoxy. But we'll see. So I'll pause here and we'll be back in a little bit. Well, I managed to get the boat up on the side without breaking it. Didn't even have any creaks or cracks or anything. This way I'll be able to get in here and sand I think a lot easier than having to bend over. So I can start at the bottom, work my way up. Should be at least bearable, even though I'm gonna be all suited up and or have my PPE on, and gonna be a long day. But anyways, we'll pause here and I'll set you up. Maybe I'll even do some time lapses this time around. Alright, so I'm done, I think, with the hand sanding on this section. The sanding has really shown how how poor of a job I did on the fiberglass here. I really screwed this this section up when I did the fiberglass and sanding it down smooth. You can see here, I'm pretty sure that we've gone through the fiberglass in most of these sections, and even worse down here. Not only did I go through the fiberglass, but I went through another layer of the plywood here. So that really stinks. There was dust that had built up here, and I must not have seen that I had gone that far. But that really kind of stinks. But it does provide me clarity on what we're going to do. So I had thought, you know, I'd been bouncing back and forth between the CLC boats has you varnish the inside. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint the bottom and then with a light color, either an off-white or a light blue or a light gray, and then I'll just and like I said, I'm going to go ahead and put a layer of epoxy on that next plank, but then I'll varnish these top two planks. So the bottom will be a light colored, either light gray or light blue or off white or something. I don't know, but it'll be a lighter color. And not only will it help, hopefully hide most of my my errors here in this fiberglassing job, but also it'll be a lot lighter, a lot cooler on the feet, right? So if I'm out in the boat, I think I'd prefer to have a light colored bottom here anyways, and at least that's a good excuse to paint it and hide my mistakes here. So anyways, I'll get going on, yeah, I think I'm all done with the hand sanding here. I'm really, at this point, I'm just going to try to make sure it's smooth. There's no hope for it looking pretty at this stage. But anyways, on this side, hopefully, since I have had the peel ply on this side, hopefully this will go a lot easier, and we'll be able to finish this up and then get everything cleaned up and ready for a coat of epoxy tomorrow morning bright and early, and we'll see how that goes. So pause here and be back tomorrow. Well then, I ran out of gas yesterday afternoon. I think I've got it mostly sanded so that it's mostly smooth. I'm going to give it one more quick check over, and then I'm going to do a really good cleanup on it. I'll start with doing a good vacuum, and then I think I'm going to take a damp cloth and try to wipe everything down, and then finalize that with some denatured alcohol. The one thing that while I was working on it yesterday afternoon, I remembered that I had said I wanted to put another cove right along there, and we'll do that for both sections here. So that's kind of my plan today, is to get the finalize the cleanup on this, and then do some taping, and then put the cove in along this one. I'll be using the tropical hardener, so I think should have time. It's not a very big job, so I think it'll be should be pretty easy to get that done, and I'll have to, of course, level out the boat and everything else. That's the plan of attack for today. So let me see how far we get, and hopefully tomorrow morning we can do the coat of epoxy on here, and hopefully get this sealed up and nice and smooth again. All right, so I got the boat turned back right side up, and it's all cleaned out nice and spick and span. I've put in some tape along where I want to put the fillets this time. Also, I've got some peel ply ready. So what I did is took a small piece of dowel and a pencil and made a pencil mark along here, and then put the tape over it. The reason I want to try to do it this time, this is really just another experiment. I'll put the fillet in here, the thickened epoxy, and then you know, put the smush it out and get it in there good, and then take the tape off, and I want to see how that looks for this part of it. Again, it'll probably need to be sanded, but when we come to do the seats, we're going to have a big fillet along the upper side on both the front and the back, and I'm really trying to figure out the best method for that. So that's what my plan is. It is currently 86 in here, so we're going to give that tropical hardener epoxy a workout today. It's a very small fillet, so I'm hoping just one small batch, and I can zip around and get it in. I might even do two batches, two small batches here, one for each side, but we'll see how that goes. And yeah, so once I've got the fillet down, I'll pull the tape up, put the peel ply down, and hopefully that'll go good. And then the other thing I'd like to get done today is to tape off the sections that I want to epoxy. So I want to run a tape along the top edge of this plank here, and then also I want to connect this side to that side over there to get a good line across that, because I'm going to put epoxy up to here in the same way the front. So let me get you set up and we'll get going on that. I did finally break down and get some very small filleting bags, so hopefully this is going to make all the difference in the world. It would if I give myself a little bit more. What I just do with them? There we go. All right, let's get this smushed in. I'm gonna try, got just one of the regular mixers, flat square edge. I'm gonna try that first. Didn't really give me a good chance to mush it in, so I'm gonna try this flexible spreader here. Well, that gives me a fillet that's way too small. Yeah, let's go back to the old standby here. See how this guy does. Oh yeah, that's what I should have been using all along. All right, that's all right. We can recover, maybe. All right, let's try removing the tape now. All right, we'll see how that comes out. Tomorrow I'll go ahead and pause here, get the other side finished, see if I can get the tape out done, and we'll be back tomorrow hopefully to do a coat of epoxy bright and early in the morning. So yesterday I did finish up taping. You can see along the back the tape and the side, so that's as high as I'll be putting the epoxy on. I wanted to make sure I had a fairly clean line on the one along the edge here. Let's see if we can get you down to see it. You see I left it a little bit shy, so I wanted to make sure I had epoxy in this groove in this seam here on the inside, just to make sure. So that's how I did it all the way along. But for now, let's go ahead and see how this peel ply comes up, if we can get a good shot at this. Hopefully we won't have to do much cleaning up on it. All right, let's see how it looks. Oh yeah, there's just maybe a spot or two. Got some past there. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's see how the rest of them look. Well, that looks pretty good. Kind of hard to tell from the other side, but from this side it looks like a nice fillet there. Same thing on that one, except that little spot right there had a little bit of ooze out maybe at the top. So looks like just a little bit of cleanup. Yep, looking good. All right, let's get. So I need to do some cleanup on this, and let me get you set up, and we'll figure out what's next here. All right, so looking pretty good so far for doing this epoxy, coating this epoxy. We'll be doing using the tropical hardener, and for that, because of the amine blush, that means that either I've got to wait till it cures and then use soap and water to clean that off, or to use peel ply. So I'll be using peel ply on it. The problem is I don't have enough peel ply. so for these, especially for these big sections, I'd be pretty close, but I'd be piecing scraps of it together, and that leaves lines that are you have to sand out. So I'd rather try to keep the number of seams and lines where the peel ply matches over at a minimum. So that means I'm going to go ahead and finish this episode up here. So if you want to see how the how this next coating of epoxy goes, we'll have to wait till next episode, and then hopefully we'll also be finally getting the Dagger Board Trunk in for next episode. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, I want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Please leave me any comments, questions, suggestions down below. Please tell your friends about me, and please subscribe. Everyone, take care and be good.